Hi guys, we're going to look at using percentages now. So we're going to look at some problems and how we can work them out. So let's look at our first problem. So it's called the maths test. So Jane scored 21 out of 50 in her maths test. What is this as a percentage? So what we first have to do is we want to make it a percentage. So we need to convert it to a decimal. So let's write out our scores. So Jane got 21 out of 50. So 21 out of 50 can be written as 21 over 50. So there's 50 marks they can get, and they got 20 marks there, and you would have seen that on your own maths tests. So we're trying to convert that to a percentage, so we're going to convert it to a decimal first. So like we did before, we're going to put that as 21 divided by 50, just remembering that just means divide, and that gives us 0.42. Our second step is going to multiply it by 100. So remember, when it's a percentage, to convert a decimal into a percentage, we're multiplying by 100. So 0.42 times by 100 is going to give us 42%. And the last thing we do, so I might think that we're finished here, but we always have to answer the problem. So Jane scored 21 out of 50 in her maths test. What is this as a percentage? So we can write, therefore, Jane's score was 42%. So that is answering the question there. So it's important that you do this when you are given a question. So let's look at another problem. So 85% of people surveyed, so they like to play sport. If 60 people were surveyed, how many people like to play sport? So step one, we're going to convert into a decimal. So we have 85%, and we're going to convert that into a decimal. So that's 85 over 100, and then that's going to give us 0.85. Just remember this percent sign is 100, so that's where we get that 100 from. So now we have a decimal. So we found 85%, we turned that into decimal. Now we're going to look at this 60 people. So what we're going to do is we're going to multiply 60 by 0.85, and that will give us 85% of this number. So we've got 60 times by 0.8, which gives us 51. So now we have our answer, 51, but like in the last step, we have to answer the problem. So we're going to write, therefore, 51 people said they like to play sport. So we found 85% of 60, which gave us 51, and then we answered the problem. Problem 3, so we're going to look at this one. So this is 1/5 of students failed the test. So there's two parts. What percentage of students failed the test? And if there were 30 students in the class, how many students failed? So looking at part A first, so we have what percentage of the students failed. So we have 1/5. So 1/5 can be written as 1 over 5, and we're turning that into a percentage now. So we're going to first convert it into a decimal. So 1 divided by 5 gives us 0.2. Then to convert a decimal into a percentage, we just need to times it by 100. So 0.2 times by 100 gives us 20%. And then it's important that we answer it. So we say, therefore, 20% failed the test. So now we're looking at B. So if there were 30 students in the class, how many students failed? So we got 30, then we're just timesing it by our decimal. So to find how many, so we know it's 20%. So to find 20%, we're just going to use the decimal form. So 30 times by 0.2. If you put that in your calculator, it's going to give you 6. And then we answer the question. So we say, therefore, 6 students failed the test. This little sign here, so these 3 dots, is just a shorthand way of writing therefore. It's one of the little math tricks that people use. So this can be a little bit confusing, so I'm going to explain that now. So working out with percentages. So let's say we have find 50% of 200. So of, in this case, just means multiply. So find 50% of 200. So the first thing we need to do is we need to convert 50% into a decimal. So that is going to be 50 over 100, which equals 0.5. So we converted that to a decimal now. And then we just have to multiply that by the number we're trying to find. So 0.5 times by 200. When you put that in your calculator, it's going to give you 100. So that's that one. So here, find 20% of 92. So we're just converting 20% into a decimal. So it's going to be 20 over 100, which gives us 0.2. And then we times our decimal by our number we're trying to find. So 0.2. So 0.2 times by 92, which gives us 18.4. So 20% of 92 gives us 18.4. And our last one, find 4% of $15. So converting 4% into a decimal. So we got 4 over 100. 4 divided by 100 equals 0.04. So 0.04 times by 15 will give us 0.6. And we have to make sure that because we have a dollar sign here, we're going to write it in terms of dollars. So our answer is 60 cents. So if you have any questions about that, please come see.